I think if you were to make an investment thesis on Ethereum,
Yeah.
it's that these new DeFi things, if they succeed, it will lock up a significant supply of the Ethereum, and that will be like upward pressure on the price because you'll have all
It's already
this.
800 million's already locked up.
Yeah, so you got all this supply locked up so that it's just like the ICO boom. What happened there was all
It's no,
these
but it's no different than hodlers of Bitcoin.
it's similar. Yes, it's similar. And that's why I said if you were to make an investment thesis on it, it's that the more supply that gets locked up, the less sell pressure there is. The supply shock kind of contributes to a price rise, same as the Bitcoin halving. But that needs users and that needs a lot of usage. And I just don't see that data showing that people are going to use it. I naturally don't think that people are going to want to use an algorithmic stablecoin versus Bitcoin, which has a much easier to understand thesis behind it. It's digital gold makes sense to people when they hear about that. So that's why I don't own much ETH other than
Also,
to just
you're
use
forgetting
it.
that Bitcoin's been around 8 years before anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, and ETH is like
only 3 years now coming up.
ETH has been following similar pattern of Bitcoin.
And I'm not here
in its
as
history.
I'm not here as an ETH head. I actually have zero loyalty to anything. I'm just looking at this from like objective standpoint. It's
Yeah,
like
and I'm not like one of those people that are like, oh, ETH is a scam. I don't own any because I don't find it that interesting in terms of I feel like if you're looking at cryptocurrency to get a return on your investment and you're looking for exposure to like this new asset class, then just own Bitcoin because it's going to have a much higher chance of succeeding as a global money than any other cryptocurrency because it's the most decentralized, and censorship resistance in the end is, like you said, the most important part of why cryptocurrencies have value. And Ethereum has proven itself to be more centralized because of the DAO hack, where code was law until code wasn't law anymore, and they intervened and refunded everybody. But since then, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because there's a big, huge segment of people that want to be rescued and want bailouts. Like, look at the global financial system; it's worth like lots of money, and people don't care about decentralization there. So it's not. I'm not saying ETH is not a good value proposition to invest in if you know what you're doing and if you know how to analyze this stuff, and if you do think that make or die is going to be used by people in LATAM and stuff and has an interesting use case, and ETH will probably go up.
it has an interesting use case. Like I said, I don't have any bags whatsoever. I have zero skin in the game when it comes to this.
Right.
The underlining what excites me is the underlining opportunities or underlining new initiatives that people are building is exciting.
Yeah, I agree with you there, man. Like, I think it is an interesting concept to have an algorithmic stablecoin that is not centralized and that anybody can participate in, that rewards you some kind of interest, like an interest-bearing account. It's better than Tether because Tether's centralized.
You mentioned narrative. Just wait till Libra launches. If they launch, everyone's going to go on that thing.
Well, yeah, I think that's why I'm not as strong as a DAI fan, because in the end, I feel like it comes back to Libra's going to eat everybody's lunch. Libra is going to be the only stable coin that matters.
Yeah.
And Libra is going to then introduce people to cryptocurrency because they're going to search what is cryptocurrency. And then Bitcoin's going to be the one everybody sees, not DAI because they already have Libra, and not ETH because ETH is more like whatever the narrative is at the year.
I don't know what I have no idea what the narrative of ETH is right now.
Open finance, DeFi is the current one. But it's also money. There's a real strong growing trend of Ethereum analysts and funds and all that stuff now that they're trying to push ETH as money, and they're competing with Bitcoin as digital gold. they're trying to push that. And to be fair, who's to say what is digital gold? If 1 million people use ETH as money, then ETH is money. Like, it's just, I can't say ETH is not money if people are using it as money. So, even though I'm more on the maximalist side, we just have to wait and see how it all shakes out. But I got my bets on Bitcoin.
Yeah, listen, like I said, Bitcoin to me is a censorship resistant. That's the only thing I care about is every 10 minutes a block is mined and it's censorship resistant. Anything else to me is irrelevant.
Yeah, and those make or die guys, it's not an Ethereum specific project. They can switch it to Bitcoin.
Well, they just switched to multi-collateral, and their plans is to eventually get Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's same as the ICO boom. It was like all these projects launching on Ethereum. Well, this is going to give Ethereum value because look at all the uplift we're going to get from this. And it did while all this ETH was locked up in these token treasuries. Yeah, that's the other thing. That's like a lot of these projects have big, huge treasuries, and they're all competing against each other for similar niches of developer mindshare.
Yes.
Enterprise and like dApps and stuff.
Both public and enterprise, yeah.
And it's like it reminds me of the Bcash community, the RBTC community. When they forked off, it was mostly Bitcoiners arguing with BCH people, who were the big blockers. And then when BSV forked BCH, it then became mostly majority of BSV and BCH fighting each other, which was like Bitcoiners got to outsource their trolling to the other communities because they just started to cannibalize each other. And it still goes on now. You go to RBTC and there's like, it used to be that all the downvoted comments were from Bitcoiners. Now it's all mostly from BSV people. So do you think maybe that because of all these big, transactions per second enterprise blockchain projects coming online in the same time in the next 12 months, do you think it's maybe going to like, is there going to be an outlier, do you think, like one that does really well, or are they all going to be like eating each other's lunch?
So far from the enterprise, because just of mindshare has been Hyperledger and Ethereum, private chains. But there are
Hyperledger is Bitcoin, is Ethereum, right? Is it private Ethereum or no?
No, it's different, but they have the same EVM now, so it's interoperable. They can use it together. Okay. But you have interesting projects coming up that are very focused on enterprise. But I for me, is like I'm sure there's a lot of interesting Fortune 500 companies out there building on other platforms, but I don't hear about it. It's not public.
Do you think that any of these big projects that have these huge treasuries are gonna be viable investments for an average person, or for the sort of like an interested crypto person?
Way too complicated for the average person.
Yeah.
Way too complicated. Even if Bitcoin's complicated for the average person, like just getting a wallet and teaching them about a seed phrase and keeping that safe is complicated enough. Might as well talking about proof of stake and all this other stuff. It's like it's not for the average person.
It's like when Coinbase started giving people 0x, like learn about the 0x protocol and get some get some ZRX tokens. Like, what the hell? Like, people on Coinbase don't need to know what ZRX is or get those tokens.
No, we're not even close to, at least in North America, maybe Asia. Korea is a little bit different, but we're not even close to penetrating the mind share of crypto. It has nothing to do with the narrative. Is kind of does, but it's just the ease of use isn't here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the eyeballs are not there, and even if they are, it's still, there's so much out there. There's too much for people to choose. There's too many options. There's too many coins for the small amount of traders and small amount of users.
Remember, our market cap, obviously you see on coin market cap, what's that, like 260, 270?
Oh, it's way less. You talking about total or Bitcoin?
Total.
Total's like 220 right now, but
yeah, and I don't know if that's the accurate figures. Let's say,
it's probably like 150.
Yeah, bro. The fuck is that?
Yeah, it's not very high.
Well, like Apple is bigger than all of that.
Apple's 1 trillion or something, isn't it?
Yeah, 10x that.
Yeah.
So, we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
And like for me, we're still building the pipes of the industry. It's like key management's not here. Identity from different chains isn't here. So the interoperability, stupid
Right.
word, I fucking hate it, but ease of use, I should call it. It's not here. You know what I mean? Like listen, you can't expect people to remember their seed phrases, or if they lose, there has to be some mechanism of getting it, so,
Yeah.
or there has to be. And I think the whole, listen, like at the end of the day, we're just really early within the infrastructure. Even Bitcoin's early. Like Bitcoin has still a long way to go to build up its infrastructure.
For that thing you said, I think it's important for mass adoption that people don't lose their coins.
Yeah.
And they have a way to access their coins. But there's two arguments for that I've heard, because I think about that too. One is the Trace Mayer side, and Trace Mayer says some people just don't deserve sovereignty. If they don't want to take their own sovereignty,
No, but there
they
should be
don't deserve it.
options. But there should be options. Like if you educate yourself and you're willing to take responsibility, yes, you can take sovereignty by writing down your seed phrase or
Right.
putting in, you have it somewhere safe. You understand it. And then
Yeah, but it's not. It's like, to his point though, it's not as complicated as it's people figured out how to use the internet. People figured out how to
if you're talking about mass adoption of crypto, this is why Libra will kick ass, because it's literally built into Facebook, and I click a button and I have it.
And I think because it's centralized, right? But if you're not going to be getting returns on your Libra coins, you're going to be just using it.
My whole point, like there's a saying in marketing: teach them what they want, give them what they want, teach them what they need.